Hey viewers, welcome to another game with the Casual Pro Gamer. This is game number 3 of a best of 7 between Liquid Taeja and Liquid Snute. So if you don't want to get spoiled, you should have watched the other games first. But yeah, it is 2 and 1. Sorry, 1 and 1. It is 1 and 1. So yeah, game number 3, basically making it best of 5. But yeah, they did get to see a little bit of each other's tactics. Of course, they are both on the Liquid team, so I'm assuming they know each other's tactics already. And we will have to see if that best of 5 that is now happening is going to be turned into a best of 3, or that someone is just going to pull ahead and straight up win here, because everything can still happen. Of course, both players proving that they can actually win against each other. And game number 2 especially was a pretty good example of how matched they are. So hopefully this one is another great, well, equally matched game where nobody really takes an early advantage. Because, yeah, game number 2 was really nice to watch. Although it did take quite a long time to finish. But hey, that's the way it goes with balanced games. Balanced games take a lot of time to actually, well, conclude. Because a small advantage can be enough to eventually pull you to victory, but you have to build on your small advantage. Because if you already get the win just by having a small advantage, you wouldn't have any comeback possibilities, and most game designers don't want that. Blizzard definitely doesn't want that. They have comebacks in yeah, in their games that, well, that are kind of built in already. The defensive capabilities of Terran, for example, the fact that you can use spine crawlers and spore crawlers as defensive structures in Zerg, those are all made to get you from a position where you're behind into a position where you're equal with your opponent again, or where at least you don't have to worry too much about your opponent having a bigger army, because there are just these mechanisms that allow you to do more with less, even if your opponent is kind of at your front door. The fact that you can wall off with buildings and put the siege tanks over here, for example, and just shoot at people with large amounts of splash. Yeah, that is just those are examples of really good ways to defend your base, even if you're behind, even if you don't have the massive army that is required to defend your base sometimes. So yeah, we do have the standard things coming up. We do have an early refinery, which normally means we are going for something that is actually gas heavy, but well, didn't actually see if he has a Reaper out. Because last 2 games he had a Reaper out, but not this time. Just produced 2 Marines. I guess he wants to just go into factory then. Yep. Factory is coming up. Factory is going to get this reactor. So we are going to go into Hellions. Hellions are of course really good against the mineral lines as well as the Zerglings. Although not as good as their bigger brothers, which are the, oh come on, the Hellbats. But the Hellbats require an armory. And that is because if you would be able to build them really early game, they would be devastating, because, well, you can't really do anything against them with Zerg, so it takes a while to build up enough of an army to go up against that, because it kind of has to time with the roaches, because roaches can deal with them, and the fact that you can build or could have built roaches kind of makes it a choice rather than well, an instant victory for Terran in this case. But yeah, there are many unit combinations to consider here, but you cannot go up against Hellbats with just Zerglings, and you definitely cannot keep your drones alive if you only have queens, because they are hard to kill and they do a ton of damage. The Hellions do less damage. I mean, they do 14 damage versus light, but well, they just don't do as much damage to those drones. But they are still really super useful against a larger group of Zerglings. So definitely with the pre-igniter. And then they become super duper useful. Anyhow, we have Hellions just sitting at the base. They cannot get in because of this dual evolution chamber with a Roach Warren and then 2 queens to defend it. And the queens are just going to spawn some creep tumors. And they're going to expand those creep tumors the moment they can because, well, spreading creep, really important. We have a 3rd base coming up for the Zerg. He does not have any miners out yet. And of course, those workers are what keeps your economy afloat and what's going to eventually win you games. But it is going to be risky with these guys over here to put out too many workers. So I'm not sure. Yeah, he is going for roaches first. The roaches are going to chase away this little group. And of course, the roaches will be able to defend the base afterwards. Come on. Yeah, there you go. You see the massive damage they do, and they take virtually no damage. They take 7 damage from that attack. It is, yeah, it is not even worth mentioning. So we do have Banshee out here, and since there's really nothing else, tried to build the extractor, but couldn't really reach before he died. Spore Crawler is coming up though. So only two of the units get killed by the Banshee, not making it worth it. So if this Spore Crawler can come up, and it will come up because, well, the Banshee is not going to be stupid, or rather the Banshee player is not going to be stupid. Yeah, we're going to have to see how that works out. The Viking out just to harass the Overlords. Overlords are really, really slow in the beginning. So you can pick off at least like 2 Overlords with your first Viking if people use them to scout, and that is definitely the case here. So the Zerg in a little bit of trouble. He is losing supply, maximum supply that is, and with the maximum supply being low, well, he can't really build units. So yeah, going to pick off another Overlord here. And Overlords, yeah, there are 100 minerals. But not only that, they cost you 1 larva. And they take a long time to build because Overlords are one of the longest to build units. Obviously, the really high tier units, yeah, they are longer. They take longer to build. But it is definitely not something that you just want to lose. And we are going to get some damage done here with our Banshee. However, yeah, attacking the hatchery, not really a good use of the time. We are going to get some drones here, and he got 5 kills now. So, is making it worth it. Banshees can take out queens, by the way, but you will have to micro your ass off. Plus, normally it is required to have multiple Banshees. But yeah, it all depends on your micro skills. But normally we don't see that. Normally we see people just backing off when the queens come in. But sometimes, yeah, you have someone who says, well, I can do this. I'm just going to. I don't care what you think. And wow, we have such a large army over here. But is it going to be good enough? There is a drop coming in over here. And this drop actually is not going to do a whole lot. Maybe he got some drones earlier. Yeah, he did get 13. Oh, no, that's here. Okay, he did get quite a few drones there, but it is not going to... well, oh, he is going to kill this hatchery. Wow, that goes down so quickly. Oh my god, I thought he was not going to get that hatchery, and that would have not made it worth it. Because a few drones, yeah, sure, that is sucky. But he lost a lot of resources by drawing out that army towards the bottom left and then attacking the bottom right. Yeah, very good strategy there. And once again, we don't have anti-air, so we don't have anything to deal with these medevacs. The medevacs are, of course, the strongest unit in this group for the simple reason that they can rescue every other unit. We are going to go into this base. The Banelings doing all of their damage, but it's not really efficient damage, and we have to back off. So, resources lost then. We see 6,000 resources lost already for our Zerg player and 3,300 for our Terran player. That means that the Terran player is mightily ahead, and he's also going to just defend his bases with his mighty army. And here you go, the Banelings trying to do something, but not really getting their huge splashes off. It's good damage. I mean, it's definitely good enough damage. 2 of the supply depots are going to burn down if he doesn't save those. And he is going to save both of them, I think. We'll be able to see that over here. Yeah, he's saving both of them. So really nicely played. And we are going to counter-attack here. Because obviously he attacked first, then the Zerg came, well, over the top and attacked him back. But now the Zerg has been defeated and he is going to attempt to attack back. But yeah, not for now. It seems that that the Terran player just has to sit back and chillax a little bit, because the Zerg player is not going to be able to go in and, or sorry, the Terran player is not going to be able to go in and just destroy everything. He's going to have to be patient, set up a defense somewhere, and while these bases are getting pretty close together, once again we have a flying building or a flying something, and nothing that the Terran player, the Zerg player can do about it. And we are going to land this command center now, take out the entire troop that was there, and once again Zerglings streaming into a base, but not getting a whole lot done. The army, the Terran army is just too big, and he did get some SCVs at least. So we do have 16 to 10 now, 16 to 11, because we are attacking here now. And while just getting that command center actually in the red, but it's not going to burn down. It's going to take too long to burn down, and he does have SCVs here. So we are going to warp that into a planetary fortress. And while more and more troops out for our Zerg player. Zerg, of course, well, they love to just go for these huge armies and just suicide them in. And it most of the time is pretty effective. If you know how to do it, then you can do very well with it. So the excellent scout here, the scan, actually seeing what's happening. And while, yeah, the sensor tower, we don't see a lot of those, but sensor towers are really useful on some maps. So the maps like this, with which have well, some entrance here and an entrance up top, yeah, you want to see what's going on and where the enemy army is coming from, because if you know that, then you can defend way better than if you have no clue what's going to happen, and then you have to kind of guess one of the entrances and run to the other one if you have the wrong one. So yeah, we do have some Zerglings streaming in. They are going to be stopped, however, no problem. And once again, yeah, we are going to take out the Zerglings. So the Zerglings, they're really suicide units normally, so you run them in the hope of doing something, and if they don't do anything, yeah, that's still okay. So one Marine over here, and it's not going to do well, do you any good to just attack that with one Zergling, because obviously that's not gonna work. Tanks are going to get taken out here, and large groups of Marines. And are we finally getting close to being equal here? Resources lost, no, it is not nearly equal. Zerg losing way more. That's kind of what I figured, because the Terran player is not really losing a whole lot of units. I mean, he lost a few units there, but look at the cost that that took. I mean, it's just so costly to make all of those units and then suicide them in to get a few tanks and a few Marines, because Marines are well, just cheap. And tanks, yeah, he doesn't have a lot of tanks, so he can't lose a lot of tanks. And plus the tanks do a massive amount of damage first, before they actually get killed. So yeah, they are worth it. So some of the tanks coming up, and the Terran player really should be ahead here. He is currently at 4 bases, I believe. This is not a base, right? No. So 4 bases versus 4 bases. Yeah. That means that the Terran player is ahead in mining as well, because the Zerg players, they need to be ahead in bases, otherwise they can't make it work. Their units are just too much of suicidal, well, they have kind of a suicidal nature. And you have to replenish them way more than you need to replenish the Terran units. And look at that, the stim pack going off, actually cleaning up everything and then just healing back up with those medeffects. Medeffects so strong, finally has that that fungal growth going, but it is way too late. Once again, nothing against those medeffects, and so many near escapes, or well, no, near death escapes from the Marines who just get healed back up, and really, yeah, it didn't work out for him. Well, it worked out for the Terran player, I guess. So, yeah, just steady aggression, and we saw a few attempts from the Zerg player to be aggressive, to go against that, but the Zerg player just too far behind. As you can see here in the resources lost tab, is almost double the resources lost, and since he's no base ahead, that's not going to work. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. On to game number 4. GG.